Catherine Tinsley with the Nocturnal. How are you guys doing today?
Hey,
Chilling,
Catherine, we're
chilling, chilling.
great.
Great, good to hear. So my first question for you guys that you guys star as Isaiah and Stevie. What was your process for developing the layers of your characters, but also your relationship dynamic together?
It's a great question. Ladies first.
No, no, go ahead.
Honestly, I think when it comes to just Isaiah and I guess his strive for success and all of that, I felt like I really just my whole life really got me ready for that element. But when it comes to the love and the romance and all of that, yeah, my whole life got me ready for that too. It was just like, it's just I really felt like the character for me just came at a time where I was experiencing a lot of those nuances in real life, and when I saw it on screen, in the way I did, it gave me a lot of closure and clarity on things that I didn't really understand, and therefore it felt like something explore a little more. But yeah,
That's a good answer.
word
Yeah, I think,
life.
yeah, no, seriously, I think a lot of that, what happened, trying to build those characters was very much, exploring real life nuances. Like it was basically reflecting on, your own way of navigating your own nuances, and you're being confronted with that. But at the same time, that's like the exact stuff, that's the meat that you're going to need to put that in the work, so
Facts.
I just feel like this has made me, grow a lot. And it's a privilege to be able to be part of a project like that. It doesn't always happen that you leave a set with that amount of new insights and new answers,
Facts.
clarity.
Facts.
And outside of the love story in this film, we also see an emphasis placed on artwork. How would the two of you define art?
Oh,
all,
that's a
all
very
real
good.
things, all real things. That's my acronym for art, but truly, all real things. Anything that really reflects truth and encourages truth, I feel, can be considered art. Um,
Yeah, that's a beautiful answer. I had this conversation with my what? No, seriously, I think it's great because I had this conversation with my grandpa. We did like a little video where we were asked the same question, and they were asking my grandfather, who's 96, and they were comparing that to my answer,
mhm.
in my area and as an artist. And it was interesting to hear his answer because he was like, art to me is being able to have the freedom to express yourself in the purest form you're able to, and creating a space for yourself and only claiming that space to be able to be like, well, this is art to me, this is my most authentic form or shape of
Mhm.
what's going on within my own universe, being able to like let that out with no boundaries. That's and I think he had a great point.
Mhm. Mhm.
And my next question is for Kofi. We see Isaiah trying to capture beauty, but also the normalcy of blackness within his work. What were you able to learn from this character for your portrayal of him?
It's a great question. I feel like it amplified my lens on just like the everyday, ordinary things that you possibly overlook, and being so close to the painting. Shout out to Gerald, who
Definitely.
made the paintings for the film, but he's such a regular dude, but like, his mind is out of here. And I mean, clearly you could see the manifestation of that with the work. But just those details, those nuances, and really just paying attention to how we get to these certain like emotional spaces and like how we get out of them, and like, how work sometimes could influence, relationship and vice versa. And like kind of just like the blend and balance of that. And like, just learning about the chemistry to like how a lot of these things operate in real life, but paying attention to the detail, paying attention to the detail.
Well, thank you guys so much, and congratulations on creating such a dynamic film. So, my first question for you guys that this film, in many ways, feels intentional, not just with showing the Black love story, but also with the aspects of DC you guys highlighted. What was the creative process for the filmmaking?
Well, a lot of what you see on the screen was in Felicia's script. DC was so important to be a character. Like she spent her formative years there as an artist, and being in love and navigating, love and career and life. And and we're both from Baltimore. So for us, like just this sense of place was very important because I don't think we've had a lot of opportunities to see not only this region on screen, but specifically like the DC, Maryland, Virginia, you know what I mean, area. Like it's just such a specific cultural place for Black people and is important to both of us. Like I think if you're from any of those cities, you understand like how hard you rep no matter where you end up. And so for us, this was like, yo, we about to put Baltimore and DC on screen, and that's what we tried to do.
And yeah, and also because DC is typically, when you see it on screen, it's associated with politics. So showing like the cultural aspect, the artistry, the music, the communal aspect, the family, and how Black DC is and diversity in its Blackness was really, really important to us.
And do you hope that people will learn that DC truly is the chocolate city we all have known it to be for years?
I hope so. I hope so. And also that it's just such rich history, that's the other thing that's so fascinating about DC. It just has so much history and so much culture. But then also it bumps up against, like, if you're an artist in DC, it's challenging because it bumps up against government and politics and very structured, buttoned up institutions. And so finding your way and being able to navigate those spaces and be an artist and people understand who you are as an artist can be challenging in places like that. So.
And with both of you being from the DMV, do you find yourselves relating to the character of Isaiah when you're watching the film?
Oh, 100%. I am both of the characters. I'm her and him, you know. I think Felicia probably would agree as well. I think, it's hard not to insert yourself into any story, at least for me, and I think that this for me, for us, it's a very personal story. Like we brought our own experiences with relationship and like growing up in these particular places to the story.
And I think specifically for Isaiah, like being an artist and having friends and family who don't understand what that looks like and what that means, and having to over validate and being broke and like all these things. But then also from a Stevie perspective, like being an ambitious Black woman, having dreams, having other people understand those dreams, and then bumping up against in a relationship is definitely something that we've both experienced.
And with the two of you kind of partnering in the filmmaking process, how did the film evolve from the script to the filming of it?
I think the screenplay, the process of, like envisioning it, I think that a lot of what was on the page ended up on the screen. Because we were we worked together for 2 years before we even shared the screenplay with anyone. Like Felicia was very intentional about making sure that things were tight before anybody would read it. And so a lot of, what we wanted to do, what was important to us, we wanted to make sure was like on the page. Like even the music, like some of the music that you'll hear in the film, like those songs were written into the screenplay as dreams, at the time, but like, being able to like include those songs that, we were hearing all along. I think that was really a huge part of our process.
And I also think that, when you then get hit with the reality of production, you lose darlings and babies, and then you reshape the film to be what it's going to be with the footage you have. So it's definitely some changes in that way, but I think the heart and the intention of the storytelling remains, and that's actually what got us through the process and got us here, was sticking true to that intention of wanting to show these beautiful Black people fully living, loving, and creating in DC.
Well, thank you guys so much, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you so much.
My first question for you is that Really Love tells a love story between not just Stevie and Isaiah, but also a love story of community in DC. How do you feel like this role differs from roles you've portrayed in the past?
I think Nick is Nick is one of those guys who is one of the community leaders, kind of like he has this underground, this very underground club scene that he works with that, you know, brings go-go's to DC and all of that stuff that, you know, people come through and partake in. So he's kind of one of the guys that people go to for certain things. Even his friendship with Isaiah showcased just a whole different side of me. You know, just somebody who is more about community, somebody who is more about the people that are around them.
And with this film really having this kind of sense of community while watching it, do you hope that people will find community with this film, and especially with it being about DC?
Man, absolutely. I pray that not only just it being about DC, but it being about love, it being about, you know, the friendship, just as you said, the relationship, community. I pray that people leave this with a feeling of understanding, you know, friendship, relationships, they're all beautiful no matter how they come to you. And, you know, we have to appreciate them as such.
And with this film really showcasing the diversity of Black love, with it being with a partner or friendship or family, what do you think is the significance of showcasing that through film?
Man, I think, hold on, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Okay.
I think, honestly, with a film like this being about so many different aspects of Black love, whether it's friendships, relationships with your family, your friends, the person that you actually, you know, you're in love with, there's a certain just energy that I pray that everybody kind of takes from this.
And with this being an insanely talented both team and cast, what was the collaboration process for making this film?
No, man, it was fun. I think the best part about doing this film was the stuff that we didn't put on film. Just being able to be in the room with everybody, the jokes, the spots that we went out to go eat, the times that we actually just spent together, just being family. Those are the times that, man, that was the most amazing part, to cultivate what you guys seen, and the feeling, the tangible, actual feeling of all of those relationships. You know, shout out to Angel and the rest of the entire team for allowing us the space to create those actual relationships and friendships.
Absolutely. And my final question for you will be, what do you hope viewers will take away from viewing this film on Netflix?
And you know, I think I said it earlier, just the understanding of relationships. Things aren't as linear as we kind of always hope that they are. Things don't always kind of go as we plan them or as we map them out, especially relationships. You know, this movie, when you watch it, it doesn't wrap up everything in a pretty little bow and make it seem like there's always a happy ending to this. Sometimes things are left open-ended. But there's beauty in that. There's beauty in the way that life actually is. So I pray that everybody leaves with seeing the beauty of what actual relationships, actual community, what it looks like and what it feels like.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you. Thank you.